Hello. Don't mind me, just finishing setting up while we wait for some people to join in. I'm so excited for today's video, like so excited. This is something that I've been just really into just for kicking off 2019. This is just really where my heart has been at, about diving into 2019 with some purpose and some direction. Not just purpose, but direction, because it's so easy to feel like we have purpose and know what we want, but the how is the tricky part. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. Today, if you're joining us, we are going over vision boards. And not just any vision board, a vision board that serves you, one that is going to actually get you closer to achieving your goals, one that is going to fill your heart, motivate, and inspire you. And I'm going to talk about the difference between motivation and inspiration, because in my opinion, they're two completely different things. But before we get started, I'm standing this time. I was sitting on my bed like I normally am, and then I knew that I wanted to be able to move around and show you guys some things, so we're standing. We're gonna try something different. So I hope you guys had a wonderful New Year and a wonderful holiday, and I'm so excited for the kids to go back to school on Monday and for us to get life and routine back in order so I can really start to take control of our lives again, because I feel like the wheels are falling off over here, and I'm just so anxious for us to start pushing towards our 2019 goals. And the kids need to be in school and a routine for that to happen. Okay, so let's see, stopped what I'm doing to come watch. You're so sweet. Thank you so much. You're so sweet. Okay, let's dive right into it. I want to tell you that I'm going to save this video afterwards. I finally learned how to save Instagram live videos so they don't disappear in oblivion forever. So if you want to be able to rewatch it, message me. I'm not sure where I'm going to post it yet. Or if you want to be able to send it to somebody else, message me, and I'm going to try to figure out how I can send you guys the link. But I am going to save this video. So first off, I grew up as a kid. I had a stepdad who was I learned about setting goals from him. And he was the person who, he would get out a 3x5 note card, and he would write out all of his goals for the year, and then he would laminate it, and he would keep one in his dress shirt pocket, and he would have one taped to his mirror. And I remember hearing him getting ready in the morning, speaking of words of affirmation to himself in the mirror while he got ready. And I remember thinking, he's so cheesy, oh my gosh, what a goober. But trust me, I was paying attention. And every single year at Christmas, he would get me a new journal, and he would write some words of encouragement and the opening cover and encourage me to share my hopes, my dreams, and my fears in that journal. And I've never ever stopped journaling since. I have boxes and boxes full of journals that are just my thoughts, my thought downloads, things I'm afraid of, things I want, things I have on my to-do list, and I just fill them up all the time. And so setting goals is not something that is new to me. It's something that I have just done my whole life, and I have been trained to do from a very early age. But I don't know if you're anything like me, where you find that first of all, there were a handful of years where I boycotted New Year's resolutions big time. I was like, no, I'm not. Why should January 1st be the day that we all decide to be good people? Can't we just do it at any time? And you can. But there is something about getting on that bandwagon of energy that is just circling the globe of people wanting to be better. And there's something about joining that I think is super sustainable and really helps us to stay motivated when so many other people are shooting for their goals at the same time. And we're more encouraging, and we're kinder, and we're more positive and optimistic. So I got back on the bandwagon, and I decided that 2019 is going to be my year. 2018 was a really incredible year for me and for our family, and there was a lot of personal growth that happened. And for 2019, I am ready to apply that personal growth to bless my life and to bless other people's lives. I'm super stoked about that. So I decided to start with a vision board this year. And if you're local and you're on our Oily team, then you were at my house the other night and we all did it together, and we did a couple of like fun self-awareness exercises before we made our vision boards, and then we all let our vision boards go in the direction of our hearts. And I want to encourage you to do that. There is not a right or a wrong way to do a vision board. I'm going to give you some very specific examples today of ones that have served me and I think could serve you, but I want you to really not overthink it. Have fun with it. It's not about it being perfect. It's not about everything being spelled correctly or the color scheme being perfect or it all being lined up. That is going to defeat the whole purpose if you get caught up in, oh, I gotta go to Michael's and I gotta get all the right craft supplies and I gotta get the best magazines. And don't get caught up in that portion of it, because that is going to halt you from what is going to benefit you most about this exercise. So don't overthink that part. The part I want you to overthink about is what you want out of this year. What do you truly want? I don't care what color scheme of Sharpies you use on this. I want to know what your hopes and dreams and what you are going to commit to and hold yourself accountable to for 2019. That's what's going to go on this vision board. So I started, before I created my vision board, I started by, of course, going to my favorite place, and that is Pinterest, and I started searching vision boards. And all that I found were like, do you remember when, gosh, I don't even know what it was. Was it The Secret where they talked about vision boards, 10 years ago, and that was like all the rage, and people were pulling through magazines and cutting out the car they wanted and the house they wanted, and quotes from magazines and like taping them into a collage. Well, when I went on Pinterest, that was all I found. And I thought, these are really great. These do serve a purpose, but they're not serving the purpose that I'm looking for. So I decided to go into a different direction and have a more goal-oriented vision board. So there are two types. We have a vision board that inspires us, and then we can have a vision board that motivates us. And a vision board that inspires us, to me, looks like that beautiful collage. It looks like, here's a bunch. It looks like uplifting quotes. It looks like things that make us feel happy, things that get us excited to do life, things that remind us what matters and get us back on track. That is an inspiring vision board. That is a vision board that fills us with positive feelings that are going to help us tackle the day and keep pushing forward. A vision board that motivates us is a vision board that makes us take action, that reminds us what our do goals are. And our do goals are goals of things that we actually need to do in order to accomplish, not just feel. So an inspirational board is going to help us with all the feelings, which we need. That's super important. We have to have good feelings to produce good results. But the motivational vision board is going to help us take action. And now that I'm sitting here thinking about it, I'm going to give you a sneak peek of mine. So this is mine. It's highly personal. A lot of the things might not make sense to you or be relevant to you, but this is my board. I'll explain how I made it work. And this is my motivational vision board. This is the one that is going to motivate me to take action in my life. And these are all of my do goals, the things I want to do, the things I want to be. So what I'm going to do next is, on the back of this board, I want to create, which I haven't done yet, my inspirational one, the one that inspires me, that fills me with the good feelings and reminds me of all that I'm capable of, reminds me that I'm a daughter of God, reminds me that I'm driven and that I don't want to give up and that I want to be generous and kind, and all of those things that uplift me are going to go on the back side of that board. Okay, now we're going to do a little exercise, because this is the exercise that I did before I created my goals, and this is the exercise that I did with our team members when they came over. And I'm taking this from my favorite journal that was gifted to me by my best friend for my birthday last year. And I pore over this all the time. I revisit it all the time. It's the Daily Greatness Journal. And the whole beginning part of the Daily Greatness Journal, it walks you through a lot of what I call self-awareness exercises. Really being honest with yourself about where you're at, in good ways and in ways that you need to improve on. We don't like to say that we need to be fixed. We like to say that we're just going to improve. Nothing about us needs to be fixed. but we can always be improving. You're perfect how you are, but we can always be moving towards progress and towards a better version of ourselves. So this is what I encourage you to try. For me, it was like, I don't know if this resonates with everybody the way it resonated with me, but for me, it was like, it like blew my mind wide open. So I'm asking you to get a paper and a pencil, and you're going to draw a circle. Oh, can you see it? Is it too bright? Let's see if I move this closer. Okay, we can see that enough. You're gonna draw a circle on your paper with a dot directly in the middle. And then we're gonna divide it into a pie. Do it one across and then one more. Okay, then you're going to do slash marks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then there's 10. All the way around. I'm not gonna take the time to do that all the way around, so just imagine that I slash marked all of them. Right here, each one of the lines is going to be a category for you. So this one is health and body. This one, you can use the exact categories that are given here, or you can come up with your own categories of areas that are perfect for you. This one is emotional, spiritual, and personal growth. So emotional, personal, and spiritual growth. This one is intimate relationships. This one is social and fun. This one is family and friends. This is your work and career. This is money and finance. And yes, there's a difference between money and finance and work and career, and I'm gonna like talk about that in a second. And this one is community and giving. Okay. So if you're like me, you were like questioning what some of these categories are. I'm gonna go over them one more time. So you can, if you're taking notes, write them down so you can do this exact exercise. Health and body, emotional, spiritual, and personal growth, intimate relationships, social and fun, family and friends, work and career, money and finance, community, and giving. So after we create each of these, I want you to decide before you are going to answer the questions. I want you to decide which each of these categories means to you in terms of your goals and in terms of what is important. I tend to fall into the trap, and I have in the past, and I'm not going to let myself do that this year, of when I'm making a New Year's resolution, I basically make a list of all the things that I would need to do to create my perfect life. And I think that's important. I think it's important that we're self-aware of that. But I also think that we cannot set ourselves up for failure. And I can't have a rippling six-pack, be a millionaire, be this pillar in my community of giving back. I can be all of these things, but I can't be all of these things at once. We went to the Rachel Hollis viewing as a team the other night, and she said something that was like, just really resonated with me. And she's like, you can do all the great things, but if you want to be really good at something, if you want to really succeed at it, you have to focus on one thing at a time. So, and that seems kind of counterintuitive to what we're doing here. Okay, Ashley, why are you creating so many different categories of areas that we want to improve on? So that's what I want you to make personal to you. For example, this year, let's just go over, like, this could be anybody. Let's say this year your goal is to improve your intimate relationship and to be better at community and giving. So maybe your involvement with the church, maybe your involvement in your local community, politics, whatever it may be, your kids' school. Let's say those are the two areas that are most important to you this year. But yeah, you would like to be physically healthy. You want emotional growth. You want all of those things. So these would be the two areas where I would be expecting the most from myself. Those are going to be the two areas where I'm going to set a lot of do goals, and I'm going to bust my butt to be the best I can be in those areas. Meanwhile, I still want to be improving in all the other categories, but those goals aren't gonna be as astronomical. For me, this is a scale of 1 to 10 right here. The center, meaning you're doing literally nothing, like you're in a hole, you're in a pit, you're doing nothing. 1 being the lowest, 10 being the highest. So when I'm scoring myself on this rating, my score, if my goal is to make the most of my intimate relationship, my goal is a 10. And if that's my focus for the year, you better believe I'm gonna have 20 goals, 20 do goals in that specific area for me to achieve that. Meanwhile, if my priority this year isn't health and body, but I still want to improve in that area, maybe my goal is take a walk 3 days a week for 30 minutes. I'm not telling myself I need to run a marathon. I'm telling myself move your body 3 days a week. And if I do that 3 days a week, take a walk for 30 minutes, I'm gonna be at a 10. I'm gonna be satisfied that I have achieved my goal, okay? Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Put questions if it doesn't. Meanwhile, if I'm community and giving is my focus, let's move to a different one. Let's say that work and career is my focus, which it does happen to be one of my focuses this year. My list of all things that I want to achieve in my career is endless and long and a bit overwhelming and really, really, really big goals in that area. So for me to achieve a 10, here it is, in work and career, I'm gonna be doing all of those things. But because social and fun might not be my focus, maybe I define achieving my social and fun goal as saying yes to a girls' night once a month, which might be something that's difficult for me. Okay, I hope we're following along. So consider what your goal is for each of these categories, and then you have to be very honest with yourself about today, the day that you're completing this exercise, where are you at in terms of achieving that goal? Where are you at? So let's say social and fun. Okay, I'm at a 2 right now. Intimacy, maybe I'm at a 4. Emotional growth, maybe I'm at a 6. Health and body, a 1. Community and giving, I've been really good about that lately, so let's put me out here. Money and finance, right in the middle. Work and career, I've been really killing it at it. This is all hypothetical here. My family, I could really do better. I would say I'm at a 4 and I want to be better in that area. Okay, so remember, the further to the outside of the circle, the better we think we are. So now we have all of our dots. So now we're gonna connect them. So stay in order. Okay, kind of looks like a heart, right? So once you connect your dots, this is the part for me where my mind was like, phew. Obviously, guys, it's supposed to be a circle. The whole idea is that this is a circle. And if you're doing this business with us, we hear a lot about how, like, all of us as moms, we say this a lot, like, we just want to find that balance. We just want the balance of, like, home and work and parenting and, like, self-care. Like, where's the balance? We're always struggling to find the balance. And in this business, we say, like, if you really want to achieve your goal, you're gonna be imbalanced for a little bit. Like, you're going to be pouring parts of yourself into something. The laundry is gonna slack off. The home organization and that whole Marie Kondo, like, tidying up your house is gonna have to go on the back burner if you want a flourishing, successful career. Something's gotta give. I believe that wholeheartedly, which is why I believe if you're setting a health and body goal, but really this is your year to explode your career, then maybe this goal can be a little bit more chill for you. Maybe this goal is just, I know I need to move my body to stay healthy. I know I need to be active to be at my best. So what can I do in that area just to improve? And so in that sense, we do find balance. We can find balance while still giving more energy of ourselves to different areas of our life that are gonna help us to achieve that goal of that time. So, let me get my pen again. Let's say this is me. My goal for 2019 is for this to look like a circle. To make those goals for each of my categories And as I work towards those goals by the end of the year, my hope is that this is a balanced circle and that I am giving parts of myself to each of those categories that are important to me. Okay, I hope that made sense. I'm moving you back over here. I want to take a minute to show you how I did mine in case you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed and you're like, okay, but what does that look like? So here's what I did. This word in the middle, there were a lot of girls on my team who picked like their word of the year of what they wanted to focus on. And for me, I have set a really big goal in my career that I want to hit a certain rank in my business. And I know that when I hit this rank, I'm going to be able to bless a lot of lives of a lot of people who are really important to me. And it's going to create a lot of opportunities for our family to just be a fuller version of who we are. So that is my goal. This is my diamond year. That's what I'm saying. It's a big goal. It's a big, big, big goal. And I encourage you to decide what goal is very realistic and very possible for you, and then take it a step further. Step it up a notch and push yourself. We're at the beginning of the year. We got a year to do this. So that's what I have here. Then I took each of those categories and I created my own little section for them. Now, I adapted them for what was important to me. For example, I added a section that says house and home. My house is my sanctuary. It is my happy place. It is a big part of who I am, and having my home reflect that brings me a lot of peace, and it sets me up to be successful in other areas of my life. So I have a ton of goals here for what I want our home to be and to represent for us. So I've created a whole nother section here. This is a different section that I included as well called do goals, the things that I know that I physically need to do to make all the rest of this happen. I am not a morning person, like not even a teensy bit of a morning person, and it's really hard for me to wake up early in the morning, and then if I do wake up early, I'm not necessarily effective or on my A game. But I know that to make a lot of this happen, I gotta be starting my day earlier. And if I'm gonna make time to go on a walk 3 days a week and get outside and get my body moving, I've got to create time for that. And so it means getting up earlier. So that would be an example of one of my do goals. Another one of my do goals is read. I want to read more. Less Netflix, more books, personal growth. So I did a lot of like just specific things that I want to be on my minds. I have a whole spiritual growth section that includes my daily scripture study, prayer, and meditation. I have me and Ben and our relationship goals. I mentioned here before, sorry, I have like a hair in my eye. Oh, I got it. I mentioned before that Ben and I watched the Tony Robbins documentary on Netflix, and I did want to warn you that it's not something you can watch with kids. Like, they have to be in bed if you watch it, and there's a lot of like F-bombs, which is not my favorite thing to hear, but the overall message of this documentary like blew my mind wide open. And at one point, Tony Robbins says to this married couple who are going through something tough, he says, "What are your relationship goals?" And they just like looked at each other. And in that moment, Ben and I looked at each other, and we like to think that we have a strong relationship and that we are really communicative and that we get along. And so I'm like, yeah, we're doing great. And we're very goal-oriented people. So we have a lot of shared goals of things we want for our home and for our family and for our careers. And I know what his goals are, and he knows what my goals are. And we talk about that all the time. But what we've never done is sat down together, and independent of all the other things going on in our lives, we have never asked each other, what are our relationship goals between me and you? What do we want out of this relationship together? He's my partner in life and in everything. Everything that matters to me is linked to him, and we have never done that. And it pretty much blew our mind wide open. So amidst the holiday chaos, I will honestly say we haven't done it yet, but right when the kids go back to school, we're having a date night, and we're sitting down and we're like, what are our goals for our relationship? So anyway, I put some of the things that I know I want to talk to him about at that dinner on here of goals for us to do together. His love language is he wants a playmate. Not that kind. Like, he wants somebody to do activities with together, and that is very much a love language for him. So he's super into like marathons and triathlons and whatnot, which I am not super into, but that's his love language. And I know that me doing something like that with him is going to make him, it's going to fill him up, and I will be speaking his love language. So if I expect him to pour into me, I need to pour into him. So that's one of the things in this area. I have thought work, which I definitely encourage you guys to do, is a thought work section. My thought work section are a bunch of reminders of thoughts that should be going through my head, of thoughts that serve me. Our thoughts control our actions. Our thoughts control how we feel. Our thoughts control our entire framework of how we view this world. And so it is so critical that we have control over those thoughts. And there are a bunch of traps that each of us falls into. And becoming self-aware about the traps that you fall into with negative thought work is so important, and that's what I spent last year doing. I spent last year figuring out all of my limiting beliefs, and I'm sure that will evolve and there will be more, but I am very aware of the thoughts I have that hold me back. And it doesn't mean I'm in control of them, but being aware of them is the first step to, when they start to claw their way into your mind, to be like, no, this is not happening. So I have a series of thoughts that I remind myself, and truth that I remind myself, and I put all of those in my thought work category of, in 2019, these are the thoughts that are filling your head. Definitely encourage you guys to have a section for that as well. I have health and fitness on here. I have family and friend goals. I have my career and finance goals, and I was specific. I said, by December of this year, 2019, I wrote down what I want my monthly paycheck to be. In December of 2019, this is what I want my Young Living paycheck to say. And it is a big number, and it is like, but I also know that it's completely possible. And here's what I'm gonna do. Here's what I'm gonna do. We went, what did I see? Darn it, I can't remember who to give credit for, but I'm not taking this as my own. Somebody else gave me this idea. I created this board. It's highly vulnerable because so many of these goals are a reflection of where I consider myself to be weaknesses in my life, and I want to improve on. So it's basically like a whole poster board of areas where I feel like maybe I'm falling short and I need to improve. And I created it, and I immediately put it up in my office, and I did this. I turned it backwards and leaned it against the wall, only because I wasn't hiding it from myself. I was hiding it from other people. I didn't want other people to know these were my goals, because I was afraid that if they knew these were my goals and they saw me living in a way that was not living up to my expectations of myself, that I would be judged, or that they would be like, oh, that's, you know, what's she eating right now? That's not part of her health goal. I saw what her health goal is. Or if somebody else in this business knew how I was performing, they're like, yeah, that's not the paycheck she said she would be making at this point, or anything like that. I hid my board because I didn't want people to know exactly what my goals were. And that is the worst thing I could have done. And it hit me like a bolt of lightning yesterday. And that's when I took a picture and I posted it. And I like let my vulnerability air out. And I decided that I was going to show you guys directly what my goals are. Because we need to own our goals. And yes, we need to let other people see what our goals are for accountability. And also because there is no shame in wanting to be better. There is no shame in wanting to improve, and there is also no shame in being completely self-aware of the areas you need to improve on. Like, that is a beautiful, evolved place to come from, to not have shame about the areas that you consider to be weaknesses. So that is my huge challenge to you. Create this vision board and then have it in a place where you can see it all the time, and you're not ashamed of your goals. You don't want these to be things that loom over your head. You want these things to be goals that inspire you. Remember, inspire means to fill with good feelings, and you want them to be goals that motivate you. And motivate means get you to take action. Good feelings, take action. That's the entire purpose of your vision board. So that's why I'm gonna be vulnerable, and I'm gonna tell you that yes, this year is my diamond year. It might not happen. And that's not a limiting belief, that is a reality. But I am living my life like this is going to happen. I am making all of my choices, I am pursuing all of my dreams and my goals as if this is going to happen, and I plan on it happening. If it doesn't mean I'm gonna fall apart. It means that everything I did on this board to get here, I am that much closer. I have still progressed. One of my goals that like I'm embarrassed to say out loud, and I'm just gonna do it, is in December of next year, my paycheck, I want my paycheck, take a look. Yes, that is correct. I want my monthly paycheck to be $20,000 in December of next year. That is a huge, huge goal that can feel overwhelming, but again, it is possible. The way that this business is structured for us and the way that it is laid out, I am on the path to get there. And I am setting a goal to get there in December of 2019. I'm visualizing it, I am speaking truth into that, and I know that when I get there and all the amazing steps and achievements that I hit on my way to that are going to be things that allow me to continue to bless the people in my life that I care about and the people coming into my life. And that is a big part of my why for all of my goals. You cannot give what you don't have. You can't give what you don't have. And I want to be able to give more. So I'm expecting more of myself. I'm so excited. If you guys have any questions, feel free to message me. I encourage you to make your vision boards. Don't overthink the beauty of them. I have spelling errors. I have messy little boy writing. It doesn't matter. Just get your truth and your heart and your vision on paper so that you can start living closer to your best life, so that you can start moving in that direction. Love you guys, and I'm gonna go save this video now so that I can message it to you if you want it. Okay, love you guys.